Hello and good evening, everybody. My name is Ben Weeks. I'm the CTO of Requestec, and this is Marek, my business partner who heads up business development. Requestec's been specializing in video calling services since 2007. We enable businesses to engage with their customers through video calling and associated technologies, predominantly in the web browser. In the early days, this was Flash technology, but more recently, WebRTC. We're going to get straight on with a live demonstration of a use case which has gone live in the last 2 weeks here in the US. That's with Medtronic, who I'm sure many of you are familiar with, a company specializing in medical devices. And this use case starts with somebody having received a new diabetic pump, and because of FDA regulations, they need to be trained to use that pump. But typically, they'd have to take 4 or 5 hours out of their Saturday to travel to a hotel somewhere to be trained. But now, together with Medtronic, we have integrated into the business process the ability to opt for training online and to carry that out from the comfort of your own home, both more convenient for the patient, but also saving lots of money for Medtronic in terms of renting great big rooms like this. So we're actually going to demonstrate Flash on this side, because one of the really important things about obviously offering stuff in a browser, you can't expect people to change browser. And it's great to see that WebRTC is moving into Chrome and Firefox fantastically, but there are no guarantees that anything's going to come about in IE or Safari. And while you might have heard lots of bad things about Flash, we've been doing it for so long now that we can do H.264 UDP solid video calls in Flash to the point that we're confident of demoing them to you, to show that it really is cross-platform, cross-browser, the platform that we offer. Over on this side, actually while Marek does this, so he's enabling Flash, we make sure that the patient's camera and microphone are working before we allow them to enter into the meeting room or to the online space. This ensures that their network is capable and that once they're entering, they'll be able to be seen and heard by the trainer. Over on this monitor up here, we have a pure Chrome WebRTC instance of the meeting room. And as you can see, everything is pretty much the same except the top right hand where the media is handled, which on this side is Flash, and on this side is WebRTC. So I'll talk you through some of the meeting room controls. We are not going to have time to cover lots of different use cases, so I'll show you a few different examples of things that are going on in the meeting room which are used in other deployments. First of all, the ability to control. And sorry, while I do this, Marek is going to dial in people from iOS and Android. So a patient would receive a link in an email potentially, or Medtronic would request via an API a link which is personalized to the patient, which when they click on it will take them into the meeting room on any device, iOS, Android, Safari, Internet Explorer, or WebRTC. We're able to actually share the view of iOS up here for you. And as you can see, it's very similar in terms of you have a whiteboard area and the video conferencing section at the top. So on the left of the meeting room is the members list, the people in the room. In the middle is the whiteboard area where you can share pictures, PowerPoint presentations. And on the right-hand side is the video conferencing area. Now, the video conferencing in a training environment, it's very important that the trainer can see all of the students, but the students can't see each other for privacy reasons, but they may want to hear each other. So at the moment, we've got training mode selected, and over here is the trainer who can see both of the, all of the students that are joining into the conference. But on this side, we have the example of a student or a patient being trained for the diabetes pump who can only see the trainer. And there's a couple of other MCU layouts that we can quickly show you. One is called Focus. You able to toggle those layouts? In Focus, everybody sees everybody, but the person who's talking or the active speaker is in the larger box. And we have one called Broadcast, where everybody sees the active speaker taking up the whole screen. And that can be set based on who's talking or manually by the moderator. The moderator also has other controls. He can see how much audio people are producing, but he's able to mute somebody's camera or microphone if they're making too much noise, and promote people to the top of the MCU layout. We also have the ability to share a screen. So if you wanted to share your screen using WebRTC Screen Share, and this will be sent down again to Flash and all of the different devices, iOS and Android. Our mobile SDK, which we've created ourselves, has a low level, which just provides you with the calling, but also a high level where you can have a full-blown application with source code. The SDK supports WebRTC, Flash RTMFP, which is the secure UDP protocol, and also SIP. We have SIP certification from BroadSoft and also interoperability with NSN's IMS core in production deployments. We also provide for Genesys, the call center, their front-end browser-based click-to-call solutions for a number of call center deployments, including Akbank in Turkey, which was one of the world's first online video banking solutions. Everything that you see here in the browser, both on Flash and WebRTC, can be recorded in the server for playback exactly as you see it. That would include the whiteboard area, as well as the video conferencing, or you can just choose to record the video or the voice or nothing at all if it's a HIPAA-compliant installation where recording is not allowed. Marek is now sharing a PowerPoint in the whiteboard area. And I think this is a bit of a world first, being able to convert PowerPoints to pure HTML5 assets, where you can move through a PowerPoint. The owner of the conference can share different slides with people, including animations. And I think you're going to show an animation now. So as you can see, it's bringing up different information about some of the low-level advantages of our MCU, including mixing of Opus wideband audio, a low latency mixing of the audio into a single stream so that you have low bandwidth in all situations, which has been really important for some of our deployments in China, where people are learning over the internet, and any sort of packet loss or excess bandwidth can really get in the way of call quality. And also the ability to do dynamic FEC, which is where you can tell Chrome to automatically send some packets twice, which uses more bandwidth, but it gets around the need to have to re-request packets that get lost. And this is done on a dynamic basis, such that you only do it when it's necessary, and you choose a profile which matches the packet loss of the network to try and achieve, and quite successfully, smooth video, even in high packet loss environments, say in calls between the US and China. Oh yes, Marek's going to call in from a SIP client now. We are going to use Counterpath's Bria SIP client, but we also recommend people using Cisco Jabber client or Tandberg and Microsoft Link. And we support all of those for dialing into our platform. So telepresence, existing telepresence setups can also dial into these rooms. And now we have 4 people in a grid, in grid view. Okay, so just to top this off, and I hope you've enjoyed seeing what you're seeing, we're going to share the screen now of the presenter, which will be visible on all the different endpoints, and perhaps you can switch to the Requestec logo. And I'd just like to say that if anybody here would like to try this themselves, we can set you up with your own branded room, which you can either host yourselves or use the Amazon cloud, or we can host it for you. And you'll be able to experiment with all the different controls, invite your friends from around the world in to talk to you, to really experience the high quality audio and video that we've spent a long time working on. I think that actually brings us to the end. I could talk about another couple of use cases. Do you want to show them the Virgin? Other customers that we've got are the National Health Service in the United Kingdom, who are now live with 4 different counties. We supply Virgin with their online meeting rooms and for healthcare provision, and also in banking. And you might not have heard of us because we've been largely over in Europe and not so well popularized in the US, but this conference back in Atlanta was really good for us. And I welcome talking to any more people over here tomorrow while we're still here about exploring potential partnerships in working with you. So here's a little example from a Virgin site where you can access on Flash or WebRTC in order to to make a call through to the call center. Excellent. Well, I hope you've enjoyed it I hope you've enjoyed my talk and it's been relevant to the use cases of what we're doing, and look forward to talking to you all soon. Thank you.